So people ask us all the time why it's important to clean the filter. The reason it is these grids, a lot of people think the grids are actually what filters the water, but it's not.
It's the DE.
Right. That's exactly right. And the grids just are placeholders, and when we put DE in the filter, it coats that grid. And in a perfect world, the proper amount of DE would put a 1/4 inch coating of DE on top of the grids, and that is actually what filters your water. And I hear people say all the time, in fact, I got a note from somebody, or a message, a comment rather, even today, that said, we're putting in too much DE when we recharge these filters. But as you could see by this video, this was a regular backwash, and there was little to no DE left on the actual fabric themselves. There was some DE that would get caught in between that didn't wash out, but 99% of the DE, well, maybe 90%, was washed out. We did have a little that was in between the grids, and there's some that'll stack up in this centerpiece, but for the most part, 90% of it gets washed out.
Now, if you don't do well enough backwash, yes, some DE will be left in the grids and not come out correctly.
Exactly. And what Richard's saying by that is, if you have a super long backwash hose, which a lot of people do, the water can't move fast enough out of the filter to give you a good backwash. You want to move the water as fast as you can through the filter so it gets a good rinse. And the longer that hose is, the slower the water moves, and it doesn't clean the fins up as good. So if you're doing a good backwash, you should lose 90% of the DE should wash out. And that's what you want, because that DE that was in there, you can see it is,
Collects everything.
yeah, it's full of, you can see the different layers, where the different, like this, you can tell when we had the windstorm, there's a layer of really dark red sand on it, and that was in the last 2 weeks. And then there's a layer here, and a layer down here is another dirty layer. And every time this filter turns off, a lot of that DE will settle down back into the bottom of the tank, and when you restart it, it recoats the grids. So you want as much DE inside of the filter as you possibly can have, so that your filter works properly. And the people that say, you put 6 pounds initially and then go half of that each time, they're just flat wrong, because what I'm seeing doesn't reflect what they're saying, that you only need less, because the DE powder is what makes the filter work.
It even says on the filter itself how many pounds you should put in every time.
That's right. And they're not doing that to sell DE. They're doing that to extend the life of the filter and make the pool work properly. So anyway, with that said, that's the reason we clean them once a year, and that's the reason we put in the amount of DE powder that we do. And there's a label on the side of your filter, and I'll show you what that looks like. It tells you exactly how much to put in. And the most common filter we have is a DE 60, 60 square foot. And you can see it right here on the label, F&S plus 60. Amount of DE required, 6. So 6 pounds after each backwash. And if you have any questions, it's right here on the label. It tells you how to do it. And it tells you to recharge it completely. So we're just going by manufacturer specs, how much to put in. And if you do that, you won't have any problems. You'll have a great